So I didn't have any clients this morning, so I decided to sit at home and finish up Predator. I watched some of it last night, and I got to finish it up this morning. So it was a nice, relaxing morning. I don't really get any of those anymore, so it was kind of a nice thing. So, yeah, I'm here to discuss Predator on the any... Wait, what the fuck? This game is terrible, okay? I grew up playing this shit, though. I could never beat this game to save my goddamn life. Anybody remember this? God, such a silly-ass game. It's not terrible. It just... Oh, man, NES. Anyways, let's talk about the real thing here. Predator. This is one of my favorite films of all time. I watched the Predator trailer last night, the new one from Shane Black, and I didn't know where I was going with my next series or whatever, and I was like, you know what? I'm just amped. I threw this movie on. It's been a little while since I've seen it, and I was just smiling from ear to ear for at least the first 10 to 15 minutes straight. I could not wipe the smile off my face. That's how happy this movie makes me. I think it is flawless. It is pitch perfect. It has incredible pacing, the fucking casting, the directing, the music, the effects, the level of violence, and it's all perfect. I wish The Rock could pull off a movie like this. I'm so sick of the PG-13 shit that he's doing. He's like our replacement for Arnold, right? I mean, that's basically what he is. And I think he's very charismatic, and I really like the guy. I just wish that he would take on more R-rated properties. I've talked about this before. Schwarzenegger did his Twins. He did his Kindergarten Cop. He did his family films. His more, family-friendly comedy, Junior and Jingle All the Way and all these, But he also did the Terminator, and he did Predator, and he did these R-rated, hardcore, kick-ass, macho man action movies. And he did like the more PG-13, awesome action movies too, as like True Lies and whatnot. So Arnold was kind of multifaceted. And it's something else I want to just really quick go over. Schwarzenegger is a much better actor than people give him credit for. Am I saying he's an incredible actor? No, I'm not. But I am saying that you can see bad acting from people in films. You can go through the history of film and see tons and tons of it, especially in like bigger budget stuff when they throw in a person who shouldn't be leading a movie. But Schwarzenegger really commands that attention. He really, takes over the screen when he's on it, not just because he's a big man and he fills up the screen, but because he just has a very commanding presence to him, and he is kind of charismatic. And although his one-liners are cheesy, they kind of really are his persona and make up his filmography. Like, that's just kind of his shtick, and it really works for him. So yeah, I mean, he has a lot of cheesy one-liners in this, like stick around and whatnot. Like, I love that stuff, though. That's Schwarzenegger, and I think that this is one of his better performances in his career. But I hate when people are like, oh, Schwarzenegger can't act and this and that. And it's like, you're talking about a guy who, this is his second language, mind you. He came here and took over the bodybuilding world. I mean, bodybuilding wouldn't be what it was today if it wasn't for Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yes, there's other people like Lou Ferrigno and whatnot, but Arnold really brought it to like the public eye because he then started starring in these films. He became the most premier bodybuilder of all time. I mean, you can't think of bodybuilding without thinking of Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's the number one person you're going to think of when you think of it. He was the biggest action star in the world for long period of time, over a decade. He became the governor of, one of our most popular states in this country, and probably one of the most popular states in this country in the whole world. Like, everybody knows California. So the dude has accomplished more in one aspect than most people would in their entire life, and he's done it in 3. So the dude's incredible. Say what you want about him personally, whatever. He has accomplished a ton, and as I said, I think he's a very accomplished actor. Not Daniel Day-Lewis or anything, but much better than anyone would ever give him credit for. This movie has a Thing type opening, which The Thing is the greatest horror movie ever made to me. And this is one of the greatest action movies, definitely the greatest action horror movie of all time. So this whole opening of like a spaceship coming and kind of like crashing down on Earth, yes, it ejects a little pod, which is the Predator. But regardless, it has that very similar opening. And it's crazy for me to think that the director of this, then after this, his next movie he made was Die Hard. Holy shit. I can't think of many people who have done a better back-to-back film that was disconnected, like not Peter Jackson or something where he did Lord of the Rings or something, but I'm talking like a completely different franchise, a completely different whatever. So, and both of them became huge franchises. The guy was just, batting 1,000 there. I love the opening arm wrestle scene with him and Dylan, Carl Weathers from the Rocky franchise. So that I love that. I love all the casting is freaking amazing. It's funny to see Shane Black in here now that he's directing The Predator. Seeing him in here as Hawkins, that's just great. He wants to bring it back to where he started, and I love that. All the dialogue. Some of the dialogue nowadays would probably be frowned upon. Bunch of slack-jawed faggots. I like Jesse the Body Ventura. I love him. I love Mac. I love frickin' Billy. I love everyone in this damn movie. Everyone's so perfectly casted. Everything is incredible. That opening song, like anytime I hear Long Tall Sally by Little Richie, I am just in it. Like I throw that on in my car and I am in that helicopter. We're sweeping into the jungle. We're going to get dropped down. We're going to go take out some bitches and find Hopper's bodies. And like in my mind, I'm in my car and I'm just like, I love listening to Long Tall Sally. It's a hard thing for me to say. I want to say long tong. My brain just doesn't want to say tall after that. And I like the amount of gore and violence in this, like when they find Hopper's men and they're all hung upside down and been skinned alive. Reminds me of Big Trouble in Little China when he threatens Jack. Anyway, I'm not going to get into other movies. I'm trying to stay on track, people. Stay on track. So they go down and they find this little camp, this little friggin' compound where these gorillas or whatever are hanging out, and gorillas, huge difference. Anybody know what movie that's from? No? Captain Ron? Love that movie. Okay, anyway. But yeah, he sees them execute one of the dudes, and he just has this look of like, motherfuckers must die. And that's just it. Like, this movie's R-rated, lots of cussing, lots of, I love it. Back when action movies, big budget action movies in the theaters were R-rated. Which we're starting to see a little resurgence of that, thank God. Thanks to Deadpool for that. But yeah, he just goes down, and of course it's Arnold, so we have to showcase his muscle, and he goes and he lifts the back of a truck. I wonder if that was in the original script, or if this was written for Arnold to be able to do something like that. But because you have Arnold Schwarzenegger here, and the dude could literally lift the back of a truck, he does it, throws it down into that place, and then just even his little like comrades back there are like, what the fuck? And this place blows up and they just go in there, and the gunfighting and the gunplay in this is ridiculous. It's not realistic in the slightest. Like, they're not even aiming, they're just kind of sweeping their guns. It's like, there's no precision, there's no, like, you don't really pay attention to like the tactical side of things, and it don't care about any of that. This is just fun, pure action mayhem. So they take out this compound, and we got freaking Jesse the Body Ventura's gun here, that freaking mini dragon from, they even use it in Terminator 2. That thing is ridiculous. I don't even think how, that thing would be so heavy, trekking that through the wood, through the jungle, oh my God. But it's Jesse the Body, baby. He's got that power. And I love his line, I ain't got no time to bleed. I say that shit all the time to people. That's another quoted line. You got time to duck. And I used you to get the job done. He's like, my men are not expendable. And I love that. I love that they're like a unit. Like, he doesn't look at his men as soldiers. Like, he looks at them as family. And he's pissed off at, Carl Weathers or, and he's pissed off at him. Like, how could you do this to me? Like, we used to be friends. And, you're putting my men in danger. And he's just like, at that point, he's just written him off, and he doesn't want to have anything to do with him. It's fucking so hot out here, guys. You have no idea. Like, I might have to like press stop and come back out after I've had like a minute to cool down. Jesus Christ. And I have to wonder with this scene. Am I sweating? I have to wonder with this scene if like the predator was watching, and he was like either like staking out that compound, and he was going to take all those guys out one by one, and then when they came in, he was like pissed off, like, hey, that was like, I was going to do that. I was going to put myself to the ultimate test on take on an army. Or he was like, wow, this little small group of guys, like an A-team of sorts, comes in and takes out this whole thing. Like, I found an even bigger and badder, test for me, because that's what I'm doing here, right? I'm here to test my skills. I'm trying to become the ultimate predator. And so I think almost like he's, impressed by these guys, and is like, all right, like I didn't want to have to deal with these little wimps anyways. It is too hot out here, guys. We're gonna go inside. That's how ridiculous it is. You have no idea. I'm like sweating. I seriously thought I was gonna pass out. There. You don't see that in many videos, do you? This is where I just did my Mandy trailer. Oh, it's much better in here. It's pretty hot still, but because I'm too cheap to throw on the air conditioning before I leave for work, I didn't want to keep it on. Yeah, there you go. Let's see, where was I? Whew. Yeah, when Blaine, Jesse the Body Ventura's character, sees this, like, he thinks that this animal is going to be the predator, he, like, some blood splatters on him. I'm guessing the predator killed that animal first. We don't see that happen, but I always wondered what that first initial blood splatter was, and I have to assume that's what that was. And then he gets shot and blown up, and then Mac comes out and cuts down the jungle, and they had to have like such faith in him that there was something out there, and that's just it. Like they're so close together. They're so close that they trust that they're just going to fire into the jungle, and who knows what's out there, and we're going to waste all of this ammo, which is ridiculous because they only have so much ammo and then they're out. Hopefully they stocked up at that place where they shot everybody. But yeah, I was just like, wow, you really trust the shit out of this guy. And I really like the connection between Mac and Blaine. It's really one of the only character connections that we get to see explored in this, and I feel really bad for Mac because they clearly sees that is his buddy, and he's devastated that he's gone. Let's see here. Yeah, that wasn't a very eco-friendly thing to do, though, cutting down the forest like that. Yeah, so the predator likes to take trophies because, like, he comes in, he swoops in, and he takes the bodies away. Like, once they're dead and they bring them into camp, like, he sneaks into camp and takes the bodies. Like, those are his trophies. He's taking those skulls with him. So I like that. And I don't know if that's to prove anything or if that's just for him. Like, I killed this. This is my trophy. I'm taking it. That's how I kind of take it, because he comes back for everybody. The if it bleeds, it can die thing, or we can kill it line. I love that line so much. Yeah, so they build this huge trap out in the middle of the woods and just hope that it's not going to see them or hear them doing this whole huge trap that would take hours and hours and hours to do, and it clears out just a small part of the jungle that they're hoping that he doesn't come from the south, or the north or the west. Like, he has to come from the east. I'm of course just taking a direction, but I'm like, really? Like, he could have been watching this whole thing. That's pretty damn silly, and you have to just be like, okay, sure, why not? That would work. And then, of course, it all goes wrong. That dude gets his ass kicked, and then I like how it doesn't go to attack the girl because she's not armed. It has no interest in even fighting or trying to kill or hurt anybody who isn't trying to protect themselves. It's there to take on the best of the best, and it finds the best of the best out there. It waits for it, takes out Hopper's men. It probably was staking out that place and being like, these guys aren't worth my time. And it waited, and then these guys came in, and it's like, now I'm intrigued. Now this is something that I want to do. Billy stands his ground on the log. We don't get to see. I mean, I have to assume Billy died. Like, more than likely, right? I mean, he died. But we just hear him scream, so we never do get to see him die. And Get to the chopper. Everybody wants to quote that line from this movie. I don't know. I love the line, so it doesn't really matter. And then he survives all these insane falls off of these waterfalls. Just, I mean, the fact that, yeah, you kind of just got beautiful scenes, but you got a ridiculous. And then when he finds out the mud covers up his heat, and he takes on his own camo, kind of evening the playing field, because that freaking predator can be invisible, which I think is kind of cheap, to be honest. Like, really, you think you're so badass and you're just freaking completely like invisible to people? Like, let's see what happens when you do. So he sets up this thing, and we see the water shorts out his camo, and then this thing shorts out his camo as well when he gets the thing blown up next to him. And Arnold prepping for battle is awesome. Like a whole montage sequence of him like making a bow and arrow that can fire straight through at a tree that's like this fucking thick, which is absurd, but whatever. And just, I don't know, that final showdown is arguably my favorite showdown in the history of film. Like, I love it. I love the prep. I love like the, him going up in the trees and him behind him, and he's swinging through the trees, and he blows something up and he's shooting all this stuff, and then they're fighting down on the ground, and then, Arnold knocks his camouflage out, then he knocks his camouflage out by making him fall into the water and taking his, his mud off of him so he could see him. And then he takes his mask off. You're one ugly motherfucker. The creature effects on that face, incredible stuff. Even when he punches him and that thing is like twitching, like he's trying to make sure his jaw, like if you're like get hit and you're like, like that's his jaw moving around. That stuff's fantastic. And then, he sets up that huge freaking tree to fall down. He has to bank on him not going through there. Like he had to, try to figure out, or I guess he figured out that thing would not fall for it and come around. So that he knew that. And it's also ironic that he gets rescued by the Predator here at the end, because the guy who plays the Predator is the helicopter pilot. So I thought that was kind of a fun little twist there. We don't know that, of course, but just rewatching it and knowing that, it's like he gets put out there, and this thing's keeping him in the jungle, and then ultimately that's the actor comes out and rescues him. So I like that. I love the fighting. I love that Arnold really doesn't stand a chance with him physically. He punches him a couple times, he gets in a couple good hits, but the Predator's just not having it, kicks his ass. And there's so many things that you could just talk about all day with these, but ultimately just this final scene is fantastic. And he crashes the tree on him, and he's got the self-destruct mechanism, which having that thing on you is crazy. What if you fuck up and it blows you up? But yeah, so he does it, and Arnold, I guess, should have crushed his head when he had the chance. And he runs away and blows up, and they find him out there. Thank God they were still flying around. That girl must have been like, no, he's out here. So yeah, I mean, as I said, it's hard because I just want to like continue to keep going on and on about it, but it's just perfect, man. I mean, is there anyone that doesn't like this movie? I'm really looking forward to checking out Predator 2 and 3. Like, those are the ones I'm more excited to kind of explore, because those aren't ones I know very well. I don't remember them all that well, and I'm sure I'll have more problems and issues with it that I can pick apart and have fun with. This one, I'm just kind of sitting here like, it's perfect, every scene's amazing, and pointing out scenes that everybody knows and has seen a million times. But, like, good thing that Arnold's good with direction, because that's one thing with me. I'm horrible with directions. I never know where the fuck anything is. I get lost so easily. And he has that tree thing set up, and he gets knocked down in the woods or in the jungle, and he has to find that thing by crawling there. Man, he has a great sense of direction. I'm horrible. I would have set that up, and then I would have just crawled in this direction. It would have been like a mile that way, and I would have been like, oh, and then I would have died. Anyway, guys, I got to get to work. So, come on. There can't be someone who hates this movie. There's no fucking way, right? Right? All right, guys.